coming from that chamber.
Then you must find a way in.
Welcome to Worth It, a YouTube series that's here to show you whether a game is worth it or not. In this video, we're going to be talking about Jedi Survivor. Officially announced at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim in May 2022, the game was released in April 28th of 2023. At the time of recording this script, the game is sitting at a mixed review on Steam, and I can totally see why. Still, that doesn't mean it's a bad game, and if you're interested in buying it, I do recommend it since there are a good amount of sales, and every time there is a sale, the game drops from $60 all the way to $14. So if you're a big Star Wars fan and in the mood to play an action game, Star Wars Survivors is perfect for you. Now let's get into the video and my overall thoughts on the game, starting with the story. Now before I fully start to yap, I would like to just say I know very little about the Star Wars universe. I only know a bit of it because I played the LEGO games when I was a little kid. These are my thoughts on the game. If you don't like the way I think, I'm sorry. Tell me in the comments how much you hate me, but also leave a like and subscribe. One last thing, there's gonna be spoilers. So if you wanna play the game, click off the video, play it, and then come back. I'll be waiting. Now for those of you who are still here, let's run through the story real quick. The opening of this game leaves us with some question for sure. Cal Kestis, the protagonist of the last game, returns, and this time he's captured on his way to an enemy base. He's captured by a group of Coruscant Security Force members, or CSF for short. He's then delivered to Senator Sajan, who plans to present him to the Emperor. But the Senator's plan failed due to this being a ploy by Cal Kestis. Cal's mission here is to get the information of all the Imperial forces in order to eliminate them. He does get that information with the use of Jedi brainwashing.
You can trust us. We're all friends here. Unlock it.
We're all friends here. I can trust you. I will unlock the terminal.
That was easy.
And discovers they're everywhere. Oh, and the CSF group that captured Cal earlier is part of his team, if you haven't caught on. The only one that you really need to know is Bode, because when Cal and friends are getting ready to leave, they're attacked by an Inquisitor ship. The fight basically takes out the entire crew except for Bode. The attack is led by the Ninth Sister, an old foe of Cal during the last game. The last time Cal and the Ninth Sister had a confrontation, she lost her right hand. In order to demonstrate how powerful Cal has gotten after the time skip, he defeats her easily and went for the head.
It's time to set you free.
A few moments later.
After barely escaping with his life, Cal discovered a damaged gyro on the Mantis. He can't land on any port due to a wanting status on his head, so he has no choice but to land on Kobol, an abandoned planet where Grease settled down. Grease runs the saloon here, but before Cal meets him, he runs into Ravis, a Bedlam Raiders commander. They have a little introduction, but nothing happens until later on. He meets up with Grease, and of course Grease accepts the mission to fixing the Mantis. Before any Mantis could be fixed, however, Cal has to retrieve a new gyro, and in order to do so, he has to venture down a cave system underneath the saloon. This leads Cal into an ancient Jedi temple where he meets a droid named Z. After coming in contact with the droid, Cal is sent through his memory and saw the last conversation it had with its owner, a High Republic Jedi named Centauri Kree. She gives Z a device named the Tuner, which can grant access to a lot of the older ancient Jedi facilities. But most importantly, grants access to the Forest Array, which could then open up a path to Tanalorr. Z then later on explains Tanalorr is a place within the Kobol system hidden inside a Kobol abyss. After Cal rescues Z from her sentry slumber and brings her back to the saloon, we discover Grease have also heard of Tanalorr, but thought it was an ancient myth. While Grease fixes up the Mantis, Cal agreed to help Z complete her duty by opening up the Forest Array. He uses the tuner to get inside, but was met by a stranger comatose in a tank. Upon a closer examine, it does look like this is the same key that Ravis was looking for earlier in the game. After coming in contact with the tank, Cal is thrown into another flashback, discovering the man to be Dagan Gera, another High Republic Jedi that was very close to Centauri Kree. It turns out they discovered Tanalorr together and plan to use it as a home for the new Jedi Order, since it was hidden away and safe from everything else. The flashback ends with him reaching out to Cal in present time. Cal releases him, and he gives us a recap on Tanalorr and about how he betrayed the Jedi Order because they didn't want to listen to his plans. He then proceeds to bleed his Jedi crystal and join the dark side. Ravis then appears out of nowhere to rescue him. This is where we learn that Ravis is working for Dagan. We head back to the fixed Mantis, and Cal convinces Grease to join us. Our next destination is Jeddah. This is the planet that Seer resides on, and he plans to find her in order to get some advice on the situation. When they landed, Cal was not only reunited with Seer, but also Marin. Endo Cordova is also here from the last game. We only saw him through holograms in the last game, so this is the first time Cal and him officially meets. Cere has been real busy since the time skip. She's not only busy rebuilding the Jedi Archive, but she is also the one that formed the Hidden Path. After getting some useful advice from the Archive, Cal returns to Kobo and his Shattered Moon to retrieve 2 mysterious High Republic devices. Cal presented those devices to Endo, and he thinks he could repair them, so we left them with that. In the meantime, Cal is busy defending the Hidden Path from an Imperial force that was looking for a safe house. He was joined by Marin, and this is where they became a thing. They return after their fight, and Endo reveals that he has fixed the devices. Well, not really fixed, but he has learned what they're used for. Endo explains that it was Antari Kree who discovered a safe way to get to Tanalorn by creating a device called the Abyss Compass. He also explained that there was a small temple that was built on Tanalorn, but the Jedi Order wanted it to be abandoned and destroyed alongside the compass. Dagan obviously didn't like that and planned on betraying the Order, and that's why Centauri cut off his arm and threw him in a tank. Cal and Frem returns to Kobo to look for Z, but discovered that she was kidnapped by Ravis. Cal and Bo infiltrated the Raiders' base, but then was intercepted by Ravis. Raven took over the tuner forcefully for Dagan. Cal escaped from Ravis and was eventually able to find Z. Dagan finds Cal near the end and they have a duel for the second time. Thanks to Bode's help, Cal was able to push Dagan back. Dagan escapes with the tuner, but at least Z is safe. Cal and crew then travel to Kobo's Shattered Moon in order to find Ravis. Ravis knows the location of the last compass, so we need that information out of him. Cal finds him and defeats him after obtaining the information he needed. Cal then makes his way to Centauri's laboratory on Kobo in order to get that compass. This is also where he faced off against Dagan. It's also where Cal faced off against his biggest foe, Rick the door technician. All jokes aside, Dagan was a tough foe. Cal had a lot of trouble, but with some help from Bode, he was able to overpower Dagan and even use his own mind trick against him. Now that Dagan has been defeated, Cal needed to decide what to do with Tanalorn. So he goes back to Jeddah, have like a nice campfire talk with everybody, Cere, Marin, Greets, Bode, BD1, like everybody's included. And the final decision for Tanalorn would be to use it for the archives and also the Hidden Path in order to store all these important information and to train future Jedis. All sounds well and good. It's a foolproof plan. It gets everything done, and everybody is safe. Nobody needs anything more. Well, everybody thought it was a good plan, except for Bode, apparently. Like, this is what I don't get about his character. I don't know why it had to be done this way, but he became a traitor. Like, the reason why he became a traitor to Cal's team is because he has a daughter in captive by the Imperial. But instead of sharing that and having Cal's team go rescue his daughter and then we all go to Tanalorn together, he decided, no, he has to take the key and go to Tanalorn with his daughter by himself. I don't get that, like, at all. And I've read some Reddit posts about Bode's action. Stuff like, because Cal wanted to use it for the Hidden Path, there's gonna be multiple trips. In and out of Tanalorn. So at some point, there's gonna be a spy or infiltration by the Empire, and then Kata's no longer safe on that planet, and he just wants to keep it that way. Or he was mentally very unstable, and also Dagan showed him a vision of his daughter being killed by the Empire, and that like struck a big fear / anger into him. So he wasn't making any rational decisions. I understand why he did what he did because of those situations. I just don't like it, in my opinion. And also, at the end of the game, I'm gonna explain later on, we're gonna get there, he does something even more dumb, and it's just confusing to me. But anyways, in the morning, after everybody slept, Bo kills Cordova, takes the key, and then has like a chase scene with Cal until they get to an arena where they're about to fight, and Bo reveals that he's a Jedi! Whoa! This dude's a Jedi! He stole the lightsaber from Dagan, and they have a face-off. Cal loses and is knocked out. In the meantime, the Empire is already on its way to attack the Hidden Path. So while Cal is knocked out, we jump into Cere's shoes, and we protect the Hidden Path ourselves. This part of the game shows us how powerful Cere is. She defends everybody by herself, she uses really strong force power, and it's a single-bladed stance. Near the end of her section, she fights against the one and only Darth Vader. In the first game, you did fight Darth Vader as Cal, and in that game, he loses. He only survived due to BD1's help. In this game, you must win. You cannot lose against Darth Vader, and it's like a story cut or anything. You must win. But even though you win in gameplay perspective, Cere loses in the story, unfortunately. After Cal wakes up, he travels back to the archive to discover Cere's death. Everybody was there as well, so everybody's experiencing this pain and is mourning for Cere. Everybody's trying to process what is happening, and nobody knows what's the next step. Thankfully, Bode's tracker is still on, and it turns out he is in an Imperial base inside a broken crystallized crystal. And that's where Cal and the crew heads next, even though they know it's a trap. After they got to the Imperial base, Cal fought through a bunch of troopers until he got to a high-ranking officer. He interrogated that high-ranking officer on some backstory regarding Bode, and the story goes like this. Bode was a Republic Jedi that hid away during the events of Order 66 with his family. When the Imperials found him, they killed his wife and took his child captive. In order to keep his child safe, he made a deal with the Empire in order to spy for them. So this whole plan of leaving his tracker on and leading us all the way to this Imperial base is for Cal to take care of this Imperial base while he and Kata escape during the chaos. And surprisingly enough, his plan worked flawlessly. Bode took Kata to Tanalorr and was no longer reachable. But thankfully, even without the key, there's still another way to enter Tanalorr. Using the Forest Array, Cal was able to sense when to use hyperspeed in order to get through. After they have gotten through, they met both Bode and Kata in the old Jedi Temple on Tanalorr. This is where Cal and Bode have their final face-off. Cal won the fight obviously, and he even tried to spare Bode for the sake of Kata. But Bode would not take a deal. He would not surrender no matter what. It makes no sense. Like, why would you do that? You're on the cusp of losing. Your daughter is safe from the Imperial. Why would you not just surrender? So leaving Cal with no choice to make Kata a fatherless child. This absolutely makes zero sense to me. I don't get it. Like, why, man? Even with all that hatred and anger, you should still not want to die for your child, right? I'm not an expert on this subject. I'm not going to claim that I know how the human minds work with everybody because, like, I'm just not an expert. But I'm just really confused, and I don't think what he did make any sense. This is the only gripe I have with the story. I don't think it was necessary, but it made it interesting, I'll say the least. Well, mainly I was wrapped around the fact that he was just unreasonable, and he was only there to throw a wrench into the plot twist factor of this game. It's literally just there to fill that factor, in my opinion, but whatever. Afterwards, they threw a funeral for Bode, Cordova, and Cere until Cere's forces come to Cal to advise him to guide Kata through the darkness because Bode was a Jedi, so therefore she's going to be a Jedi, being trained by Cal and Marin as well. Then the credits roll and the story has been completed. Overall, the story is a 7 out of 10 for me due to the fact that it wasn't as good as the first one, but also you have to consider that in the first game, you learn everything about being a Jedi from Cal's perspective, and as for someone like me who only knows a little bit from the LEGO games that I played decades ago, basically, that was a very interesting thing to do. And there was a lot of mystery around this character named Cal that we didn't know about. So that game had a lot of mystery points that added onto it, which made it a lot more interesting than this one. Now, as for the gameplay of Jedi Survivor, it is leagues above Jedi Fallen Order. But I don't mean the combat though. The combat is better in a way because it has a lot more style now. You get 5 different forms. You get a single blade form, a dual wielding form, a sword plus gun form, a heavy sword form, and a Darth Maul / staff form. If you upgrade them all the way, you could probably play them in very different styles. My personal favorite is the dual bladed form because I like being aggressive, and you can block at any time using that form, even in the middle of your combos. You can choose up to 2 forms on the go, so my other one would be the staff form because it deals multi-target damage and you break through shields a lot easier. My problem with the combat that makes it not a phenomenal change is because they have this white little bar under the health as a shield, and once you break that shield, you only get to attack them a couple of times before they regenerate that, and you have to go through that all over again. The only thing that adds is more tedious fighting and to pad out the game. A better system would be you breaking that shield and then you can just hit them until they're dead, or if you walk away and they regen it. It will make the fighting feel a lot less repetitive and overall make the combat much better. But the reason why I said the gameplay is leagues above the first game is due to the movement system that has been changed. In this game, Cal gets a grapple hook that can traverse locations very easily, and it's very satisfying to do so. He later on gets upgrades for that grapple hook to add even more options to it. But the biggest change and the biggest difference that makes this game feel so good is the Jedi dash that you get later on. You get that dash on a mission around Jeddah, and it just changes the way you move. Even with the grapple hook that you get fairly early on in the beginning of the game, I still felt like it was very slow for this Jedi Knight to be moving around. But once you get that Jedi dash, trust me, you will be spamming it to go around. It feels like Cal is just moving through all the places in this game, and you can just run through everything if you wanted to. I usually would clear out an entire room when I see there's enemies there because I want the skill points to level up and such, but it's nice to know that you have that option to not fight them if you don't want to. There's also parkour sections for you to obtain collectibles and cosmetic for Cal and BD1. So if you were to buy this game and play it, your Cal would probably look completely different from my Cal. BD1 also has a few upgrades that allows him to do puzzles as well, and they're pretty fun to figure out what to do. To me, this isn't just an action game, it's also a shadow platformer game, and I love those games. My final verdict for this game is a 7 out of 10. The losing points here are because of how Bode was written at the end. I can get past the fact that he betrayed Cal and the others to save his daughter and to get rid of the Empire, but I just don't understand why he would not surrender at the end. Another reason is the padded and repetitive gameplay this shield contributes to. If the combat system alone was fixed, I would honestly bump this game up to an 8.5. But because it's so repetitive and there are so many sections where you have to go through just wailing on enemies until their shield is gone, that I just can't let it go. Maybe some other people can justify it, but I don't like it. Like I said before, however, this is 100% a recommended game from me, and if you are a Star Wars fan, you definitely should be picking this up, since it is completely 100% confirmed canon. This game being canon alone makes it possible for Cal to show up on a show or a movie, and if he is in one of these media, I will definitely give it a watch for sure. And like I said before, this is kind of like a hidden platformer game, so if you're a fan of those, definitely pick it up. The sales that I mentioned earlier is also a big W. You don't see these prices on any games nowadays. And that's it from me. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below to tell me if this video was able to convince you to get the game or not, or if my opinions on Bode's character is stupid and you have a better way of explaining it. But until the next video, have a safe and blessed day, and I hope you have a good one. Peace out.